Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please rise for the national anthem. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a perfect autumn day here at beautiful Belmont Park. Mostly sunny skies, temperature hovering right around 70 degrees. The main track is fast, and the turf courses are firm. And we start the month of October with a carryover in the Empire 6 of $204,115. It begins in race number 4 on today's 9-race card, and here are the changes for today's races. In race 1, please note the number 3, Made My Day, is a first-time gelding. The number 4, Inappropriate, races with cheek pieces on. The 6, Accessible, is a gelding. And you can scratch the number 7, Majestic, and the 11, Try St. Lorenzo. Again, scratches in the first, take out the 7, Majestic, the 11, Try St. Lorenzo. The early pick 5 begins in race number 1. Early pick 4 kicks off in race number 2. No changes. And there are no changes in race number 3. If you turn to the 4th, and again, that Empire 6 with over 204,000 waiting in the carryover pool begins in race 4. You could take out all the main track only runners. The 1, Hit It Once More. The 1A, Bluegrass Cat, Smile. The 5, Our Last Buck. The 9, I Love Jackson. And the 11, Vintage Hollywood. Again, in race 4, scratch 1, 1A, 5, 9, and 11. Race number 5 starts the late pick 5. Cheek pieces off the number 4, Skylar's Scramjet. And you can scratch the number 5, Vineyard Sound. Again, cheek pieces off the 4 and scratch the 5, Vineyard Sound, in race number 5. Race 6 begins the late pick 4. Scratch the main track only runners. The 1A, Joint and Several. The 3, Kith, and the 12, Raythorn. Again in race 6, scratch the 1A, 3, and 12. Race number 7. Again, scratch the main track only runners. The 1, Sneakiness. The 1A, rejected again. The 5, Cool Boy. The 13, Macho Jack. 14, Tickvin Flu. And 15, Saratoga Pal. Scratch 1, 1A, 5, 13, 14, 15. And make the number 9, Dubai Bobby, 2 pounds overweight. Race 8, the 27th running of the Joseph A. Jimma. No changes. And there are no changes in today's finale, race number 9. $204,115 awaits in the jackpot carryover pool for today's Empire 6 that begins in race number 4. We are fast and firm this afternoon. Reprise of the scratches and changes coming up at 12:30. But up next is the first October edition of Talking Horses presented by Saratoga Water with yours truly and Andy Serling.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. He's the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I am Andy Serling, and welcome to another week here at Belmont Park. A beautiful fall day here at Belmont. Big race weekend coming up. A lot of stakes on Saturday. Fun cross-country pick five Grade 1s, 2 here at Belmont Park, 3 at Keeneland, which opens tomorrow. But we are racing today.
October 1st already. Can you believe it?
I know. Came fast. Well, because we started late, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because Saratoga ran through the latest Labor Day can be, and then we were off for another week. So I know it came fast, but for a reason, right?
Everything. Forget about 2020 in general being a weird year, but for the racing calendar, it's really strange, especially with the Breeders' Cup, because daylight savings ends on Halloween. So for the first time in as long as I can remember, I don't remember this happening for a while, if ever, they will run the Breeders' Cup after daylight savings time, which loses a lot of...
They did it back in the 80s when it first started.
So it's got to be 25 years at least.
When I went in Hollywood
Breeders' Cup
Park
Classic, 5:13 post time. First Breeders' Cup race is like 12:02 that Saturday.
Well, when I went in Hollywood Park in 87, that was the third week of November. It's like the 21st or something.
That's
I
right.
think it was like the 6th when I went in 86, somewhere around there, 7th or 6th at Santa Anita. But, of course, back then, you got to remember saying they started really early. I can remember driving to Santa Anita for Breeders' Cup Day in 86, which was the first time I actually had been to California. And we had gone to Santa Anita on Friday. And I think we left at like 8:30 in the morning to get there. I mean,
First Breeders' Cup was on my dad's birthday. Was on November 10th in '84. So they went November 10th, and I think it was November 1st or 2nd when it went to Aqueduct. So
yeah, it was November 2nd because I saw the Dead on Halloween on a Thursday night in South Carolina, and then we were in Richmond for the shows. We all hung out in the hotel and watched the Breeders' Cup. They were great Dead shows. I don't regret anything I did in life, but it is sort of odd that I missed the Breeders' Cup at Aqueduct.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that just kind of that resonated just now. That's crazy. I wasn't there. Well, you know what? I wasn't there either. I was not there either.
You were at the Dead show at Richmond?
I was at the Dead show with you. I was sick.
It's a great show.
I was sick. My Uncle Jimmy was putting in a sink downstairs, and he was playing the races with the old New York City OTB, had the phone account before anybody else. And Uncle Jimmy and my mom were putting the bets in, and I was betting
But you couldn't
race.
bet every Breeders' Cup race. Oh, at Aqueduct you could.
At Aqueduct you could.
The first year, I want to say you could bet 2 or 3 of them.
For a long time,
there were only like 10 a year you were allowed.
It was Juvenile, Turf, Classic.
I know it was the Sprint and Classic were 2 of them, because I bet 2 horses, they both lost by a nose in the first Breeders' Cup. Commemorator lost to Elio by a nose, and I bet Gate Dancer, who got DQ'd. But
I remember they started then just making it the last 3 races, and I remember at Aqueduct, saw so many great performances at Breeders' Cups, but of course, Arazi was the one that stuck out in my mind in '91. Arazi won. I watched it right where you and I used to hang out by the replay kiosk. I was at Aqueduct.
At Aqueduct.
Yep. Watched Arazi win there.
For that. I may have been in Saratoga for that. That was
watched
91,
Arazi win
right?
There. Yeah.
I think I was in Saratoga Harness watching that.
Yep.
We ready to go here?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Oh, did we?
No, we didn't.
We didn't do the sign up or anything.
Nothing.
You got me going here. Check out the sign up.
Memory lane.
Special today for Preakness this week. $200. We'll match $200 your initial deposit plus $25 free play. Use the promo code PREAK. Preakness 145 coming up this Saturday. Support racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. Also, if you deposit $100 today and you bet at least $100 at Pimlico, you will get $20 to Preakness on Saturday, and you must do this through the app and the app only. That's a Preakness reload on Naira Bets. Also, the contest Saturday is, guys, this is not accurate, right? Because we have a special contest this weekend. They need to get us a new graphic. Get this one down. It's actually a $300 buy-in, right, Anthony?
And it's Belmont.
It's at
it's
Belmont and
Pimlico.
Pimlico. You have to bet at least 4 races at Belmont and at least up to 3 at Pimlico, I think.
Something like that.
So we need a new graphic for that, guys. The contest is $300, but get on over to
Yopon in the Chick Lang today.
I know he is. Yeah.
John Velasquez is going to ride.
I wonder if he would have been pointed to the sprint if it wasn't if Volatile hadn't been injured.
To the Breeders' Cup sprint?
Yeah.
I don't see why he still wouldn't be.
Well, I wondered if Steve Aspen would have thought with a 3-year-old, maybe with Volatile, that he would take a more conservative route and then he would go there next year.
I don't disagree with that, but maybe he still
I don't know. I don't know
5
the
weeks.
answer to
5
that.
weeks, plenty of time.
No. I imagine he's pointing now. I'm just wondering if he
would have as well.
If he called
Very
more of an
interesting.
audible with him with Volatile out. And let me tell you something. Look at that sprint division. I think you'll agree. Yalpan has every right to be a major player in that race.
My fuzzy was going to be betting Yopon against Volatile in the sprint.
Yeah, he could be one of the he could be one of the favorites in this year's
I think
Breeders'
he's
Cup, not the
good
favorite.
talent,
See
real
what he
talent.
does today. An interesting race, the Chick Lang, which used to be the what was it called before?
I only remember it as the Chick Lang.
No, it was.
Was it the Maryland Sprint?
No, Maryland Sprint was the one with
the old horse
with
Artax.
Artax got the guy who jumped on the racetrack. That was for older horses. It had a name.
I thought it was. See, for me, I always remember it being the Chick Lang.
No, it had a name. It had a name before that, which somebody will text to me.
Okay.
It definitely was called something before that. Anyway, race number 1. I had a lot of problems with race number 1. And while ultimately I landed on the number 10 Forward Curve, I guess I just decided that Forward Curve may be better than these horses. And I wanted to show the beginning part of the race as Joel Rosario was really trying to find position with him. And it wasn't easy. And I think he ended up a little farther back than maybe he had to be because of the nature of the way the race being run in front of him. And Joel at this point was sort of thinking, I got to get this horse so I can save some ground because I do not want to be caught 3-4 wide the whole way. And that's why he took him out of the race. And ultimately, he got a very good trip in here. This was a lot better field than the one he's facing today.
Yeah, much better. And agree with everything you said. When the gate opened, you could see he was trying to leave for a little position. And he kind of got caught in no man's land, right? He kind of caught riding on this horse and niggling on him and pushing him on him a little bit. And then he realized it wasn't going to happen. And now you kind of have to take 2 steps forward if you want to go, 2 steps back if you want to go forward. And he had to kind of drop over. And, I don't know if it cost him the race.
It didn't cost him the race.
It didn't
He was
cost
never
him the
beating
race. It
Chocolate
cost
Bar.
him position. But if we're in agreement that it cost him position, who knows what happens going forward from there? If he doesn't have to make up all of that ground, and he's got to make up half that distance instead. Whatever the case is, like you said, that field was much tougher.
But
than what he
Jose's
figures
now
to
got to
face
get
today.
position from post number 9.
He does.
And that's not necessarily going to be an easy thing to do. That concerns me a little bit. And obviously, you've got the right rider in Jose Ortiz, and we want to wish the best of luck to Irad Ortiz, who tested positive, of course, for COVID, and we'll be riding. Hopefully, he'll be able to test negative soon. And just to point out to people, if it wasn't for the fact that we're testing, and the riders need to get a test to come back and ride, may not have found out that he was positive because he was asymptomatic. So we're glad
allowed to
we're
come back
testing.
on Thursday, I believe.
If he tests
If
positive.
he tests negative,
next Thursday.
he's allowed to come back Thursday, October. Today's October 1st, so yeah, next Thursday, October 8th. Was supposed to come back from suspension on Sunday. So really only missing one racing day
let's
here
hope,
in New York.
Let's hope that's the case, and let's hope for the best. I decided not to pay against him. I thought about it a lot. I actually thought that Majestic would have been dangerous. Now, Vicarage finished second last time out. And my problem with Vicarage is I think this field that he comes out of stunk.
And he's kind of just picking up some tiring horses here. Not really a good bunch of horses.
Well,
right?
it's just a
lot
bad
of them.
field.
Yeah. I mean, Sir Chubby was in the 0 for 12 range, I believe, in his career.
He got
He's
a
gonna
perfect
get
trip
the
to
job
win.
done,
Vicarage,
perfect trip.
this horse ran better, but I think this is just a bad field.
He
he's
ran
coming
better
out of.
against. Now, as much as we feel like Forward Curve ran against Tougher last time, I do believe that the bunch Vicarage ran against was considerably less than this.
And as a relative 40s, they're not even comparable.
Not even
Chocolate
close.
Bar would have won that.
Not
race.
even close.
I would have hit that pick 6 if Chocolate Bar had been
No
in there.
question about it, yeah.
It was a hungry field. Question become the other ones. You and I have the same picks here. I sort of scratched down to them a little bit.
I did too. I had 10, 6, 7 originally. Yeah.
Accessible First time for Mike Maker, he tried to go along with him. Will he be effective going shorter? And can Jose Lezcano get him more forwardly placed? And it's one of the reasons Jose's been doing so well is he's been aggressive.
Yeah, it's coming to the mile-and-a-half race at Kentucky Downs, and Mike Maker, of course, like he does every year, had a sensational meet over at Kentucky Downs. You can't blame him for trying to source as a Kentucky bred with the money. Yeah, he's a drop down. His races seem to be a little bit better with the addition of blinkers and Lasix in his last 3. Mike's running them for the second time, dropping them, cutting them back to a mile and a 16th. He's kind of logical. He was kind of logical to me as a horse to fill out
Made My
here.
Day is the dangerous horse because he's the best horse in the race based on his first race where he broke slow and kind of making a run against some better horses. The question is, where has he been? And now he comes back and he's running for $40,000. He's a dangerous horse. I don't think he's going to be 8-1. I think that's sort of a crazy price on him. I just don't know how much I trust him, but he's dangerous.
Yeah, he's been gone for 8 months. Now he returned off the 5-month layoff and ran okay at Gulfstream Park. We did see Raquise come back off of that race and run in the 2 Life the other day for 40. He didn't run great, really.
I'm not going to compare Raquise's first race to the other day.
I'm just saying, this horse doesn't have any speed. We haven't seen him for 8 months. He's
but that's the
dropping.
problem with all of the players in this race is they don't have speed.
Right, but the other ones at least have some recency to horses we haven't seen in 8 months.
But none of the horses that are major contenders in this race have any speed, and that's the problem. But I'm not moving up Tiz Envy, who appears to be the speed in this race.
Right.
I can't move up Inappropriate, who appears to have limited talent, though he is a second-time starter. But hey, if you want one of those horses that are more forward, all of the horses taking money here are going to be
What do you do with the
compromised.
first-time starter with Royale for Christophe Clement? Mare was 2 for 9, 126,000. She was stakes placed.
I remember Cable.
Lasix, so do I. Lasix for the first time.
Speaking of riders that are never forwardly placed.
That's the problem. Right? That's
Christophe
the problem.
Clement,
here.
first-time starters in maiden-claiming turf routes. He's 1 for 12 at Naira with 3-year-olds.
And the problem with that is he has good overall numbers when he drops into a maiden claimer, debuts for a maiden claimer. So
I realize it's also tricky with other riders being gone.
Yeah,
but
of
Junior's
course,
riding
of
the other
course.
one. I'll take a pass. Race number 2. I don't think there's that much to say about this race. We'll take a look at Blunt Force beating Cover Photo. I think that Blunt Force got the money, got a very good ride and trip with Kendrick. Cover Photo, even though the rail was good that day, Blunt Force was on the rail too before angling out. And Cover Photo did all the dirty work. And now you've got a horse claimed from Tom Amos by a trainer who doesn't have a particularly high win percentage, not looking to be critical. But you got Cover Photo for Linda Rice. Cover Photo is just a more logical horse.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, but kind of saw this the same way with, Cover Photo just off the other's feet in here for the Forgotten Hero and tied up. She was on the lead last time out. She never showed that kind of speed.
Well, she drew the inside.
And she drew the inside. So that was about a necessity last time, for the lack of a better term. And now she gets a more favorable setup and trip
2
to that.
speeds as well. By the way, the race was the Hirsch Jacobs. Thank you, Mig.
Oh, okay.
For that. We should have remembered that. Of course, my friend Forgotten Hero is there. I'm a little scared that she's going to
I
line
know
the field.
that.
I always love
I
this
know
horse.
that. Yeah. Blinkers come
Is
off.
Raylu up at Finger Lakes?
Raylu's, yeah. My assumption is when Finger Lakes closes, they'll come tackle her.
Okay.
I don't know that for certain, for fact though.
Okay.
But he's winning his race. He's winning races up there as you would expect. He's from up there, so
He told me he bought a house there.
there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll do the winter.
He was one of the
accolades.
many people that gave me a lift home at Saratoga. I always get great rides to my place.
I never gave you a ride home, but
because you're
I've-
not there.
I
Well,
picked
you're
you
not
up.
there
No,
at
that's true.
the end of the day. But
I've
I'm
caught
like
you
a stray.
hitchhiking. I've caught you hitchhiking on the side of the
yes,
road numerous times.
I'm a stray going back. I
You
get
are a
Christoph. Bill Mott, I didn't see Bill. Bill has taken me home many times, but that was in the old when people were there and he would see me walking out the other way. But I would be like picked up like a stray walking home. I think Tied Up will make things. I mean, Tied Up's not going to make it difficult for Forgotten Hero. She's an absolute rocket ship. And one thing I think with Charlie Marquez, he's not getting in the way of this horse. But whether or not she can still get it done remains to be seen.
Right. I mean, it figures that Forgotten Hero's going to go. Tied Up's going to be the first one to take her over, and then we'll see if Cover Photo picks them both up.
Race number 3. I can't pick South Africa in this race. I bet him last time. He was 13 to 1.
Good pick last time.
Yeah, he was. It was a terrific pick. Finished second. Horse ran a big race to beat him. He was second best in there. He was also on a very good rail last time. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go away. It's nothing for you here. Hey, what are these bees in October?
Very sweet, Andy.
You're right, I am. Now he's got to get 7 furlongs, which is easy.
Put honey in your tea, so maybe that's why they're
It
going
is.
after
I don't
you.
have my tea here. It's easier to wire at 7 than it is at 6. But me and Sapp is going to keep him honest in here.
At the very
I
least,
just don't
right?
need to take the horse at 2-1 after getting 13-1 last time.
No.
But he's the horse to beat.
So it's going to be 2-1 today. So, and look, this horse can absolutely win this race.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely
horse to
win
beat.
this race. But you'd have to think that, it's not like me and Sapp is slow earlier. You'd have to think me and Sapp's at the very least going to put some pressure on this horse.
Or at least be sitting there.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. You're going to just default to Belmont here?
No, there's no default here. This is more of a dirt family. So it says 2 turf races, going longer, cuts back to the 7/8. You know there's going to be pace on when South Africa shows up. And with me and Sapp maybe putting some pressure on in here, I thought Tackle made an awful lot of sense today. I know that last effort was not very good, but
Here's the problem with Tackle, and you're right. He does have more dirt pedigree than turf, so I'm not sure why they went to the turf in the first place. That's my first question.
that's the problem.
Why they do that. But second of all, he's 5-2 morning line. If he had run 10th in 2 turf races and he was going to be 8-1 in here, I'd have put him on top 2. But I'm not taking him being bet off of mediocre turf races because most of his turf races look better on paper than they are. That's why I wouldn't pick him in here.
I'm going to tell you.
He's a bad value play. He is. He can win.
I'm going to tell you what my other slight issue with him is. He might be the kind of horse that showed Bill that he needed more ground, and maybe that's why he ran him in the turf races.
Yeah, I don't see that because now he's running with 7 furlongs. So,
If the mile race doesn't come up, there's no mile and 16th races. Maybe this is the race that came up on the dirt, and you hope that the 7/8 is enough for
at the
him.
end of the day, he's a horse who can win this race who's going to be terrible value. He's a similar price to 2 on morning line, and I don't think he's nearly as likely to win this race as South Africa is. That's why I can't pick him. Now, Ernie Banker, on the other hand, well, his first race as an early 3-year-old that we'll take a look at here was pretty darn good. I mean, Double Shot came back to win, albeit running 5 buyer points lower, but More Grateful, who won the race, is pretty good in there. Ernie Banker got a good trip, but he ran well in here. And then, obviously, something went badly wrong in his next race, but now he comes back. He's a new gelding. And I don't know if he's going to be third choice. I'm not certain, if people are going to really bet Tackle that heavily. We'll see. But I'd rather take him if I'm trying to take somebody to beat the favorite in here.
Okay.
I think he's the logical other horse
Fair
in
enough.
here, based on his dirt race. And obviously, Judge Alexander could run better. He seemed to be doing some running last time out, but I don't have a lot of confidence in him.
Okay, yeah, I thought he was going to run a little bit better. I wasn't thrilled with the idea that maybe me and Sip will press South Africa a little bit today and the 7/8, even though, like you said, it's a little easier to get the wire-to-wire win. So
What are we deferring to?
No, I think Judge Alexander is going to improve off the first effort.
Can't run any worse. Pure 40 in here in maiden special weight. Even you didn't pick this horse.
Even
You pick
I
every
didn't
note
pick
of
this
horse. Race number 4. There's no question the horse to beat in this race is graded on a curve. And a 1 mile on the Widener, it suits him better than the 2-turn race at Saratoga. And he showed last time that his return win was legitimate. He got a great ride in this race by Irad, by the way. And he lost to Horace Rinaldi that had the run of the race, and he came back and won a stake at his next start, albeit a stake where everybody knew he was going to win. But he ran in there, and he's way the horse to beat.
Yep, he's running. Rinaldi's turning into a very nice New York-bred turf runner, stakes runner, like you said. Now with the Stallion Series win and the stakes win following this, was it the Mount Vernon?
That was the They Knew day. It was They Knew day.
Yeah.
When they knew the 2 horses that weren't good enough couldn't lose the turf stakes.
Yeah, he's the horse to beat. He's absolutely the horse to beat.
Okay, you're going to have to help me here.
So, nuts for bolts, I found a little interesting.
Based on?
Well, I feel like his races downstate are a little bit better overall than his races upstate.
Really?
And then he came off of the 8-month break.
Based on what?
7-month break. And ran behind Worth a Shot and Rinaldi the day they ran 1-2 around the racetrack here at Belmont. Went upstate, ran him again in this race that we just watched, and came back in a week for a quarter. And he ran okay for the quarter.
Not really, but okay.
The 3 races in Saratoga, this horse was offered up for the tag. And now we come back to Belmont, and he's not in for the tag.
Okay.
I thought that was very curious. They get Jose Ortiz, aboard today. Jose does not ride a lot of horses for Rob. Now, like you said, Rob Atchis.
Fill me in. When did we run a state-bred optional claiming turf race at this meet?
No,
so
it's
far?
only been 8.
I'm just curious. When did we run the optional claiming turf stake? The optional claiming turf race, optional claiming New York bred race since we came back from Saratoga.
No. He's not in.
I'm saying, which race did he pass on?
No, I didn't say he passed. I just said that
he's running in the first race he's eligible for. I'm assuming.
But I didn't say. But I said he's not in for the tag when he wasn't for the tag upstate for this level.
Oh, you're saying they could have entered him.
They
for
could
the
have
tag.
run him for the tag in this very condition, 2 times in Saratoga, once down here and once in Saratoga, and they didn't. And last time he was in for a straight quarter.
Now, my friend Evan, who owns this horse, is watching the show. I look forward to his text because it sounds to me like somebody forgot to run him for the tag. Why would they want to lose this horse for $40,000?
I don't know.
He's a 6-year-old gelding. Feels like somebody made an administration mistake not to enter him for $40,000.
Or
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
They figured him out.
Figured him
a
out.
horse that's run
He's
well.
3 for 34. The only races he's ever won was he had things absolutely fall in his lap completely. And even when things have fallen in his lap, I mean, he's run some okay races. I understand what you're saying. But where is he good enough to compete?
I just felt he was a little. I just felt all of that was a little interesting.
He's 100 to 1, so I'm not. I don't see him. Okay. I hear what you're saying with the tag, and now I see what you're saying. In other words, it is an optional 40. He could be in for the tag.
Yeah.
It feels to me like somebody made a mistake somewhere.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Either the JY was way the other horse near, and I only put him on top because he'd be a much better price because I think the graded curve is going to be even money, and he probably should be. The JY, those got some decent races, and I'm trying to figure out, looking at this race, I thought he could get himself a reasonable trip. He doesn't need to lead to win. He's got a good post. Manny's been riding well. Last time out, he got caught in the pace and, running against Crossboard and those horses. I thought he ran okay in the Worth a Shot race. I just thought he was sort of logical here as the other horse. Yeah, and I prefer him to Wrapped, who I've had about enough of because he never wins either. He
should get some pace, right? He has Pipes and he has Manifest Destiny in here. I would imagine that there's going to be some pace on, even click it at from the outside. He's not as fast as Pipes or the Sprinter or Manifest Destiny, but you got to think there's some pace on. Yeah, I mean, the JY can absolutely win this race as well. Look, if Graded on a Curve comes up with his A race, he's going to
probably win.
Horses.
Well,
yeah.
JY is okay. I think you're underrating the JY. JY has some good races going back. I think Graded Curve's the horse to beat, but I think JY has a chance to beat him.
I just want to take a little fuzzy against him. Like you said, the horse is going to be 10, 12 to 1.
I would like to know. I mean, that's a valid point about the claiming price, but it feels like somebody made a mistake because I can't understand how anybody wouldn't want to lose this horse for 40. By the way, good news. They wouldn't have lost him for 40. And that's the thing. He would have kept the condition. If you run it here, but they're going to run him for next season. Yeah. All right. We taking a break?
Yeah. It's fine. We've got to come back for the late pick 5.
Late pick 5 after a quick break.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. I forgot to say that at the top of the show. You're usually pretty good at doing that, covering for me.
I mentioned it when I did the changes and introduced us for the show.
Don't try to get out of that. You're usually good for covering for me. Is that true or false? And you didn't today. You let your buddy down.
You told me last week I can handle this, and now I'm going to let you handle it.
I can't.
That's become apparent.
It's pretty clear.
Because every day since you told me you can handle it, you have not.
Pretty clear I can't handle it. This race would have been a lot easier to handicap if you knew Vineyard Sound wasn't going to run in the first place. And it changes the pace dynamic. And it's going to help Skylar Scramjet, who I was picking anyway. But now, I think Skylar Scramjet in this race, I'm going to take a chance. I know he ran badly last time. He also ran very well 2 back, claimed by Cantor Mossy. I know he drops on the claim. I'm going to put him on top and hope for the best with him. I don't have a ton of confidence, though. I don't have confidence in anybody.
You got 20-60 on him 2 starts back, so you have the right to take him again.
Yeah, but am I supposed to take him?
He's a little tough for me to come back with.
That's fine. I got no problem with that. I got a problem with your horse. We got sold. You got old. You got sold.
I do, too.
He doesn't win.
I do, too. I got a problem with him, too.
He won early in his career. He hasn't won in a while. I know he should get a good stalking trip. I guess. I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't want to win.
Along the lines of our conversation from the first race, this is a $25,000 claimer again. Like We Got Old, You Got Sold, and Shamrock ran in last time. Man, don't you just think this is a much easier one than they ran in last time?
It is if Skylar Scramjet can't run anymore. I mean, Shamrock has got some good races, you know.
Yeah,
They
were the two
but he
for
didn't
me.
run well behind We Got Sold. And what about Release the Thunder? Can Ray get him back?
Not off those last
I know.
two, right?
He just fell apart after he went from Kristoff.
That's the problem for me. I saw this race. When I first looked at this race, I put it away, and I was like, I can't look at this
was
thing
an annoying
again.
race.
Yeah, I don't want to look at this right now. I went back to look at it a second time. I got rid of the 3 inside runners. And then they scratched Vineyard Town, and I had to put one of them fourth. I'm using 6s and 7s in here. I'll use a little Skylar Scramjet just because I feel like I feel confident with those 3.
Okay.
Right? So.
All right, we got to move on. I forgot we have to end a little bit early today. I forgot about that. It's getting a little lazy. Race number 6. Okay. What do you like about Market Impact? Who I don't like.
Say that again?
I don't like Market Impact.
Okay. I didn't love anybody in here. You think you're going to get a square price on a horse?
You really do?
Yeah.
6 to 5 in his debut.
You don't think this horse is going to be 5-6 to 1 today?
Oh, maybe 5 to 1.
I think he's a square price at 5 to 1. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Entered for turf first time out.
Even though he's a half to West Coast.
He's a half to West Coast. I'm very well aware. Yeah. They can have him for 40 apparently if they they like.
I'm not a fan of this horse.
Andy, I didn't like anybody.
Well, I think you're making a big mistake here, Anthony.
I left your horse open.
No, forget about my horse. You left out Colloquialist from the top 4. He's supposed to be favored in this race.
Wait, who?
The 2B Colloquialist. He was not going to be 6 to 1. He's supposed to be the favorite in this race. We're going to discuss a little bit later the figure in that race. That figure is too low. And the other thing is, his first 2 turf races, this horse got some ridiculous rides in his races. He's very, very dangerous.
They're going to get stakes horses, too.
He's better than a lot of these horses. Reevaluate the race. He needs to be in your top 2 or 3 picks. He shouldn't be in your top 4. You want to make Market Impact, that's fine. The 2B is the horse to beat. Now, Complex System, we'll take a look at his race, I think 2 back when he finished 3rd. How's this race looking in retrospect?
Not very good.
Right. It's a wrap, was easily beaten by the 2B. He is a better sprinter, but the reality of him is he's never run back to his debut where he had a bit of a trip against the gold rail. He's probably better going shorter. He's now claimed from Chad Brown. He's better sprinting. He's just not that good. I'm not with David that he's going to be as heavy a favorite as David thinks he's going to be. Maybe with that 80 buyer showing he will be. I'm a little bit dubious, and I'm not going to be shocked if this horse wins.
David laid this horse 7 to 5 on the morning line, huh? I don't see that happening. Off of Chad Brown, I don't see that happening.
And plus, you got the 2 horses for Wesley Ward, both of whom had trouble. I mean, you can't really see it because of the horrendous video presentation. Kentucky Downs has some very interesting racing, and they have big purses. Obviously, and I've been a big advocate of theirs. So, as you know, for many years, I promoted them on Twitter and said playing them and talked with their races. Not only did they do one bad thing after another this year between putting up the wrong horses and a terrible DQ and all that stuff, the stars of these races, the head-on, you can't see what's going on. I don't even know what's going on. But I will say that that I think of the 2, you probably want the 10, No Nay Now. Now, you've got Grandma's favorite. I think watching the race, you're supposed to want No Nay Now. I'm not sure I trust either one, but these 2 horses have to take some money, don't they?
Yeah, you would think.
I prefer the 10 of the 2. You prefer the 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a small shot, though, with the 7 Maddie's Marauder, who I just think is a little bit of a fuzzy in here. Going in, dropping in for a tag. First time out, caught that yielding turf, and they're going to listen to his firm, but it was yielding. It had poured before that race. You could see from the final time, and really didn't run that badly. And then stretched out behind Oak Hill, who's better than these horses, in a mile race. Cuts back, drops down for David Donk. I thought this horse would be a bit of a price and was a horse to fool around with, so I'm going to try to get this number.
That's fine. I'm using a bunch of horses in here, too. I mean, this is a wild race, especially when
there's a lot going on here.
Especially when you think there's a horse like Complex System who, I mean, we both have the horse third, but he's vulnerable, especially at that price.
He's just not very good.
Yeah.
Race number 7. The fastest horses are the horses coming out of the Hurricane Hill and Bourbon Currency race. The Hurricane Hill came back out of the race to win. Hurricane Hill improved a lot. Now, all these horses have to stretch out to 7 furlongs, and I think that is a big, big question in this race.
Of course.
My problem with this whole setup is there were 3 5.5 furlong races that day. Now, they have lowered the figure for the first one, Tipple, which was far and away the slowest. They gave it an 84. It's been lowered to 78. They have kept these figures with a Head of Plan, who ran far and away the fastest race, while also doing all the dirty work and setting the pace. And we can go right now and show his race, Head of Plan's race. He didn't just run significantly faster than Hurricane Hill did. He set the wicked pace, so he did the dirty work in here. It's not just dependent on how Colloquist does in the next race, the horse to finish second. He did the work. And I understand what Andy Byer's saying. Well, how do you give these numbers, the also-rans, to justify the 90 you're supposed to give ahead of plan? That's not my problem. I think they have to find a way in turf sprints, and we talked about this, and you saw it with Robin Sparkles, how well she ran the other day. They have to find a way to not punish the horse that wins the race because of the also-rans, especially if...
This is what we were talking about with Fire.
Right.
You were saying that to me. You're not going to give those... And I completely get that. That's my issue with it.
Especially when the ones who set the pace and did the dirty work. Now, if the horse who ran the front end set a slow pace to get there, that's a different story.
He was flying on the front end.
But Ahead of Plan did it. Now, the question for all these horses, though, is 7 furlongs.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. I was stunned that Chad Brown actually put this horse back in his stall when he won that day. I thought they were going to line up to claim this horse because you and I have talked about the first.
Can't stay on the racetrack.
Yeah, but you and I first talked about that first turf race. This horse obviously, he's a better turf horse. He should have won first time out.
He was better than ready for prime time that day. He stumbled horribly at the start.
Race was
changed
over.
The whole race.
And he still got beat 4 lengths. So he had every right to get beat 20 lengths that day. They got a base on balls last time and get him eligible for these starter races now and. Do you
trust him, though?
He's
a tough horse to trust. You trust this horse?
I trust him on the turf. I do. I think his talent probably got him by in the first 2 dirt races. Obviously, he was gone for a while, so something was amiss. But
why? Because you got that screaming turf pedigree, a big drama from Magazi there.
Andy, are you going to disagree with his best 2 races have been on the turf?
Well, I mean, he did run an 88 in his debut as a 2-year-old and lost to Endorse. So, no, I am going to argue with you.
Okay. I just think that and I think the surface does play a big role because you can't run as poorly as he did first time back and then run as well as he did on the turf.
Is there anybody in here that either of us finds as a possibility to pick up the pieces because it's 7 furlongs? See, that's my problem. I'm kind of more confident in Hurricane Hill getting the distance. I can't see the others.
I think his running style, the fact that he's picking up horses late and he's running through the wire, I think it leads you to believe that 7 furlongs is going to, I don't want to say it's going to help him because we've seen plenty of these closing sprinters in these 5.5 and 6 furlong races run out of steam at the 16th pole in the 7 furlong races. I don't feel like he's that kind of horse. But yeah, for me, I felt that they were the 2. I wanted to lean on Ahead of Plan and have some Hurricane Hills. It was a little bit of a chalky race to me.
I'm not going to lean on Ahead of Plan. I'm going to use them both. I couldn't come up with anybody else. I think probably the 7 furlongs hurts the closers more. It helps the speed, something we've talked about. Ahead of Plan was good last time. We'll see if he can run back to it. I think Javier is going to do exactly what he did last time. I'm curious. I had a long talk with Andy about those figs. And I'm not saying I have an easy answer to it, but I think they have to find a way in turf sprints when there are blowout winners. Blowout winners. They're the ones that did the dirty work to get there.
They should be rewarded.
Well,
It's not the right term, but it's the
not
first
the
term
right
that
way
comes
to
to
put
mind.
it,
Yeah.
Anthony. It's to stop punishing them because the also-rans were inferior, because the also-rans only seemingly ran fairly well because the horse in front did all the dirty work and set the race up. Race number 8, the Joe. Is it Gimma or Gimma? I don't know. It's Gimma. You pronounce it Gimma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Gimma, right? Mashney Girl is out. There's really not much to say here. It's Irish Constitution or stimulus check on paper.
That's it.
We'll take a look at Irish Constitution's first race, which I thought was a very good effort. Obviously, things didn't work out trying the spin away. I think this is the better horse of the two, but I'm going to use them both.
Yep. I'm with you.
Well, you went the other way. But
Yeah, because I think
fine.
if you're entering a maiden in a stakes race like they're doing with Chasing Cara, and her best race was on the front end last time, you're going to probably try to be on the front end again. So she could put some pressure on Irish Constitution and maybe soften things up for
Who can?
Chasing Cara.
No. The only horse putting any pressure on her is the 6, stimulus check. Greg Wolf says it's Jimma. So I'm going to go with Greg. He gave me a reason.
Okay.
He said because he says so. No, he says.
Here's stimulus
It's pronounced
check.
Jimma. He looked it up.
Here's stimulus check behind horses. Swings out for run under a good ride by Benji Hernandez and just
From his obituary.
swoops the group. I'm sorry?
From his obituary.
Okay.
This horse ran.
This horse ran. Yeah.
They knew it 5-1.
Yep. Yeah, I like the way this horse ran first time out. I thought there was going to be some pressure on Irish Constitution. Irish Constitution also was entered for Monday, I believe.
Well, isn't the pressure from
up in
stimulus
Finger
check?
Lakes. I know. Again, this is where the intent comes in. If you feel like and I feel like Chasing Cara is going to do the dirty work. If you feel that when you break, especially having the outside draw,
22 at 6.5 furlongs.
I
It's like
understand that, but
23
she also was successful sitting off the pace and making the one run. Now going the extra eighth of a mile.
It's not fast enough to run with her. You're manufacturing speed for horses. Okay,
I think she's going to be the one pressing.
We'll agree to disagree. We will agree to disagree. We'll see.
Okay.
I think Stimulus Check will be sitting second. I'd be surprised if she's not. I think they're going to run 1-2 around the racetrack.
Okay.
I'm going to use them both. Like anybody else?
No.
I wasn't impressed with No Mo Spending. I've gotten tired of that horse.
She ran much better 2 starts back when she got beat than she did when she broke her maiden. When she couldn't stay straight 2 starts back, when she kept lugging in.
Let's talk about the 9th race today.
Okay, let's do that.
This was a fun race.
Logical from after the 8th. Talk about the 9th.
I thought this was a fun race, though. What do you think?
Fun? I guess. I get headaches here, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What'd you pick? Pick a first-time starter?
I did.
You had a headache, so you got to pick a first-time starter?
I did.
Well, why wouldn't you pick a horse that can win?
How do you know this horse can't win?
I don't know. Michelle Nevin? Did you tell Michelle's numbers? She's 3 for 25 with first-time stars and maiden claimers and dirt sprints.
Have any of them faced this much?
What's wrong with this much?
A lot of these horses in here just have had too many chances for me.
Okay, so throw them out.
Yeah.
You and I are
we're on
completely different
pages,
planet in this race. I thought there was an enormous amount going on in this race, actually. You've got Liquor, who's the logical horse. Jimmy Farrar was 1 for 17, maiden special, maiden claim in the dirt, but Liquor's a fairly logical horse, the 6. You've left him out.
She ran well. He ran well when the barn was going good, and the barn just is not really going good right now.
Okay, but he still ran 2 faster races, and he's a player in here. I think Black Irish is crazy interesting. I'm shocked. But I thought you would pick Black Irish, same horse I picked, to be honest.
You picked this horse last time, didn't you?
No, I didn't pick this horse last time. This horse makes a significant. Not only does this horse get a crazy.
You absolutely picked this horse last time against No.
Oh, you're right, I did, because he has turf pedigree.
Yeah.
Right. Well, regardless, you're right. I thank you. This horse gets a gigantic trainer change, a gigantic rider change from who rode this horse last time in the dirt. And the last time this horse ran in the dirt, this horse with a rider who rarely rides ran behind Gandy Dancing and Farragut. Was beaten under 4 lengths for second in that race, and now goes to Dave Donksbarn. You don't think this horse is interesting?
I'm using the horse.
What about Moonshine Maker? You don't have Moonshine Maker for your main man Kelly Breen coming out of the Saratoga Pal race?
The unofficial 5th pick.
Okay, but you don't have the top 4. But you've got horses like Never Hold Back and Imperio D in your top 4, and Competitive Cloud, who I guess isn't totally impossible. He is dropping for Jimmy Bond, and he's never been on a dry track. But did Jimmy Bond run every single live horse he had up at Saratoga? What about Victory Built on the outside, who, ran an impossible spot last time after stumbling in the break, was wide against a gold rail, and last time he ran a claiming race, he ran a 63 buyer. And he's got Jose Lezcano.
Wet track. The wet track and the turf races, to me, are a little bit better than the dry track. The wet track and the turf race are better than the dry track races.
Hopeless, but I'm just saying,
I don't know.
You're insinuating by picking Slugo. Is there a tip on Slugo? Okay. But there's a lot going on in this race.
I got it.
You don't think so. I do. You don't think that's a lot? I thought there was an enormous amount going on in this race.
I also think of Michelle Nevin first, that it's working 35 out of the gate against half the fields who's had multiple chances.
So she's using a bug rider that instead of, you think that Michelle would jump in for a bug rider with all, not knocking Charlie Marquez, but don't you think she'd get like Jose Lezcano, who rides for her, or Manny Franco?
I like good bug riders on bottom level maidens, taking the weight break, and this horse got fast works out of the gate. Charlie's good out of the gate. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse had a lot of showed speed today.
It's quite a pedigree this horse has. This horse is a half to 3 foals that couldn't outrun you and I in a
really
horse
gonna
suit.
start talking about pedigrees at maiden 30s?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Well, I think
I don't have a tip on this horse. I just want to make that very clear.
That's fine.
It kind of sounds like I do, but I don't.
That's fine. I think you've left out an awful lot of interesting horses
listen,
in this
we
race.
can only put 4 numbers up. I have
Anthony,
8 horses left open in the race.
I think you left out 4 out of your top 4. Any one of them should be above probably anybody you have in there. I mean, I watched the Schosberg horse. The horse comes out of a maiden 25. I know it was a sloppy track. The horse was awful. Now, I get it, but try to make that horse. Okay, we disagree. We're done. Where's Andrew? Is Andrew here? I see Steve. Steve's lurking. Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member. First 9-race card of the meet today.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's only day number 8.
It's also only day number 8.
We'll match it with $200 of your initial deposit, plus $25 free play. Use the promo code PREAK. Head over to NairaBets.com for more information. Also, and don't run that contest unless you have a new slate, Steve, please.
There's Andrew.
There's Andrew. Preakness Reload. You got this, Anthony? Deposit 100.
Oh, I have them all ready to read for the weekend stakes.
You know these
by
things.
Naira Bets tomorrow.
Get $20, play through the app, and the app only.
16 races tomorrow night for the Naira Bets weekend stakes preview. 16.
Yeah.
And we're covering 7 bonus ones on race day from the 4 to 5 hour before we do Alcibiades and Phoenix.
Crazy number of stake races this weekend.
Bobby Newman and I pared it down from 32. We could have covered 32 stakes races if we wanted to.
I'm guessing I know who you like in the first race at Pimlico on Saturday. Anyhow, we're done. Johnny I will be back. Johnny I's doing the next
Johnny I's back, yes.
He'll be doing the changes in just a few minutes. Have a great day playing. All the action, America's Day at the Races. Lafitte Pinkai in town. Acacia is down in Maryland. Lafitte and I will be on for the first 2.5 hours of the show. We'll see you.